Welcome to another Foolish Thoughts episode. This is Joe Sabrone, aka A Fool for Learning, and my foolish thought for today is reselling. My art is my currency. A true story. A number of years ago at an estate sale, I picked up a number of pads of high quality paper used by artists. These papers were made in France by a company called Arches. So if you're familiar with the company and their products, you know we're talking a quality product. I put them up for sale on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. One day, I was contacted by someone asking about the pads. He was wondering if I would be willing to give him a discount because he was a struggling artist. And to be honest, I was willing to give him a break, not because he was a struggling artist, but because I wanted to move them, and I knew that I could make a decent profit. So I said yes, I was willing to give him a break, and I quoted him the amount. In addition, I gave him a public location, as I've talked about in previous episodes, public location that we could meet, gave him a couple of days and times, and reminded him that this was a cash transaction. He wrote back to me with a link to his webpage displaying his artwork, and he said that he wanted to trade his art for the art pads. Of course, I wrote back to him that the advertisement stated that this was a cash only sale and I was not interested in his art. He wrote back telling me that his art was his currency. Having grown up in the streets of New York City in the late 60s and 70s, there were many things that I could have written to him about his currency and his art. But I decided to refrain from it. In fact, if he had told me he wanted to trade his art for the art pads in the beginning, I would have told him no and saved myself and him time. If you're a reseller, you will come across people such as this. Have patience. Hold your tongue, at least as much as you can. So if you've learned something from this episode, please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, or even share with a friend. This is Joe Sabrone, aka A Fool for Learning, signing out. Remember, learn, perform, succeed.